Hey guys, Coach Gaglione here, gaglionestrength.com. I got my elite FTS teammate here, Christian. How you doing today?
Good, doing good.
I've been working with Christian for the last, couple of months, getting ready for a meet, tune-up meet. Christian reached out to me for some online coaching and programming. Getting ready for 1,800 plus total, so I got to meet him in person today, which is always awesome. So we're doing quick assessments today. So again, no matter what level lifter you have, really good stuff to just check out some general range of motion and some things like that, some bracing and different things. So these would be great drills to do like before you even learn how to squat, bench, and deadlift. And whether you're an elite level lifter or just starting out, it's just good information to have. And we can give you some great information of some strategies and some techniques, things like stands with and things like that moving forward to help you in your powerlifting career. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to lie Christian down on the ground. And Christian is a coach as well as an athlete, so he might know some things, which is fine, but I'm just going to pretend like he knows nothing. And I want to keep his knees bent to start. And the reason we're going to start him on the floor is because we want to keep him in a neutral spine position where he's supported by the ground. So I'm just going to ask Christian to take some deep breaths. Just try to breathe as naturally as possible. Cool. So he's doing a good job of using his diaphragm here. He's not really breathing too much into the chest. Again, I'm sure he's, Christian's a coach. He's going to know some stuff. You might see some people breathing into the chest. It's something you want to make sure we're getting some expansion here. So now we're going to work on breathing with the brace. A lot of lifters make the mistake of kind of bracing too early, and you want to make sure you have good sequencing where we expand fully, not just belly up, but also out, expanding the obliques as well as the lower back. So just want you to relax. You can exhale all your air out. More, relax, good. Now fill up, don't brace yet, just keep filling up with air. More. Now brace hard, push into me. Good brace. Exhale. That was good. All the way. So that was pretty good. He was very forceful. He's got strong abs, so we'll relax a little bit more. Good. Breathe in. Brace. Exhale. Okay, so one thing I noticed with Christian, he's doing a good job of expanding up, not so good job of expanding with the obliques. Once you brace, it's fine, but I think that you get a little more stability if we can get a little bit more expansion. So I want you to imagine that your belly's a balloon, and we're going to compress it. You're also going to expand out here, okay? So I want you to exhale again, all the way. Exhale. Breathe for me. Exhale, don't brace it, just exhale. Good, so I want you to focus more on as the air is coming down, we're pushing out here and pushing out here, and we're kind of compressing that, okay? Again, just breathe into my hands. Breathe, out more, brace, exhale. Good, so I want you to see if you could feel it, because this is a tiny thing, but for 90% plus, 700 pounds at 181, this can make a difference, okay? So I want you to kind of grab just above your obliques, and I want you to see if you can feel it yourself. So I want you to exhale all the way again. Just exhale, just relax, don't brace it. Exhale. Take a little breath in, let it out. Good. As you fill up with air, I want you to push your thumbs apart with your stomach. More. Feel a little different? Good. Now brace. Good. So the bracing you got down very well. Good. Exhale. Again. Breathe in here. More. Out. Good. Feel a little different? Slight difference. So if I can make him 1% better, that's going to help him get to that 1,800 total, okay? 10 times body weight is no joke, so okay, we got to make sure we got to cover all bases. So when we're doing breathing stuff, I want you to, don't even focus on up because you got that's fine. I want you to focus on expanding the obliques. I don't have a band with me, but something you can practice, Christian, is wrap a mini band around you and try and push the band apart. Okay. Do that in your warm-ups. Yep. Do that when you're doing your breathing drills. Cool? Yes. Cool. A little tiny thing, it could make a 1% difference. It could be a difference of him squatting, deadlifting 700 and 675. Okay, a little tiny change for a big result, okay? So that's the next thing we're gonna do, so that was for breathing assessment. Okay, let's do one more second part of breathing. I know it's a little not the best for. I want you to put your hands on your forehead and flip over, okay? And the legs can be straight for this. So, Christian's got a pretty deep lordotic curve when he's standing. So we want to get him a little bit more neutral alignment, okay? So I want you to kind of squeeze your glutes a little bit, just gently. I still want you to expand on the sides. Exhale all the way. Exhale all the way. Take a deep breath into your belly. More. Exhale. Good. So I'd say the obliques is probably like the thing you need to work the most on. This would be second. I'm going to get a little more expansion into your lower back. Try and breathe into here and then push my hand up as you breathe in. Don't brace until I tell you. Breathe in. More. Feel the difference? Brace. See how his back popped up and his spine's very neutral now. Good. Exhale. Good. Feel the difference, Christian? Good. So we call this crocodile breathing. It's just, but prone belly breathing. Breathe in. Expand. More. Brace. Exhale. As I feel in your lower back. So he's not normally in a very lordotic and excessive kind of anterior tilt. This can provide some low back relief for him as well. So you can do this as well as an assessment. You can also do this after the workout just to give some relief and kind of down-regulate your nervous system a little bit as well. Good. Relax. So that's good. So that's some stuff you can, and again, we can add the band here, so he's getting some oblique work as well. So we kind of wanted to expand. So we don't want to just push our belly out. We want to compress and expand front, side, back. Cool. Flip back over. So now we're going to check his hip range of motion. So this is going to be interesting. So this is a good way to check if you can squat to depth or not. So I want you to just relax. We're just going to do one leg at a time. Start, relax, bend your knee. Just feel any pinching or anything. Cool. So we'll just show the other leg as well. So you can see that his hip is flexed past 90, so you can hit depth no problem. Now I want you to feel what feels more comfortable. This is kind of a narrow stance. Kind of uncomfortable?
Not comfortable.
Not. So Christian's a wider squatter, so let's see if this kind of plays into that. Can you see how much deeper that is? Does that feel deeper? So this makes sense. But what about here? Not good, right? That's kind of like where you were initially, and then we kind of brought you in a little bit, remember? So you want to kind of find that sweet spot, which kind of feels about here. Does that make sense? So kind of find that, and if you can kind of have someone measure between your feet, if we kind of brought you up, we call this hip scouring. So we kind of find that sweet spot. Does that kind of feel similar to where you'd be?
Yeah.
So you can have someone kind of measure the distance between the feet, and it's a good way to figure out your squat stance. Does that make sense? Cool. So if I was too narrow and kind of get blocked here, too wide, you get blocked there as well. So it's a good way to find that optimal stance for your body and your hip structure. Okay, that's a hip scour test you can do. Next thing you want to test is internal and external range of rotation. Not a lot. Okay, we can work on this a little bit more. So people with a lack of internal rotation, typically more of a toes out squatter. Not really. You don't really squat with your toes straight ahead, correct? Cool. So if I tried to instruct him to squat with toes straight ahead, that would feel really bad. One of my other athletes, Gina Versa, she's got a ton of internal rotation, and guess how she squats? Very toes forward. So this is a good way to test how much toe flare you need. So typically, if you're a wider stance squatter with a lack of internal rotation, Christian has 1. I'm the same. I'm very bad. I have to out toe as well. So if you don't have a lot of internal rotation, you're probably going to need to flare your toes out when you squat to accommodate for the hip discrepancy. So it's nothing bad that we're just kind of obeying his body. Okay? And I'm sure I would kind of test the same thing. You probably see the same thing on the other side. Not basically not a lot at all. Which side does the groin hurt?
Oh man, I would say this side.
Okay, so if you're not sure, that's good. You're getting healthier. So I think working on your external rotation, I'll show you some drills, would be good because especially with squatting and sumo deadlifting, it should be. I was expecting a little bit more. So if you're a wide stance squatter, sumo deadlifter, external rotation at the hip is very, very important. So that's something we want to kind of work on. So that would be good assessments from lower body for the squat. Now we're going to look at the deadlift. Just come into where you're comfortable. Keep coming up. This way. Keep going. Okay, so, yeah, it's okay. Let's get those tools. So ideally for a conventional deadlift, we want kind of 90 degrees, a little short. Okay, to get a pinch anywhere. Now, so Christian doesn't sumo deadlift, so this is a conventional deadlift competitively, so this is okay. So we'd like to see a little bit more range of motion if you were going to competitively sumo deadlift, which is fine. But let's say I give you a little bend in your knee. A lot better, right? So if we want to kind of bring his conventional deadlift up, we want to have a little bit more hip flexion. Does that make sense? So you get a little better start position. But he's got enough where you can train him safely. But it's probably a little harder to get it in a good position for the conventional deadlift, right? So the sumo deadlift allows him a little bit more wiggle room with his body because there's less range of motion. He doesn't really need to get down as far to the bar, okay? Let's see the other side. Let's bend the knee a little bit so you can see it's a little bit more. So might need to kind of work out some soft tissue like the hamstrings and groin, which we've been doing, because it's a little bound up there. So if you ideally you want about 90 degrees if you're a conventional deadlifter. If you are not a conventional deadlifter, it's not as important, but it's just a good kind of assessment if you can deadlift from the floor safely. If not, it's something you should try to address and work on, whether it's hip mobility or some soft tissue work of the lower body. Now, I just want to kind of see if this helps or not. Let's give him a little stability. So I want you to kind of engage your lats by pushing into the floor. Hard. Good. Exhale. Breathe. Brace. Drive this glute into the ground. And then come up slowly. Keep going. More. So we gave him a little more stability. Didn't really improve. So that kind of tells me it's more of a mobility problem, relax, than a stability problem. Does that make sense? So definitely for him, it's a little, for a female, it might be different. Female with like not a lot of muscle mass or a smaller guy, he might just need a little more stability to get that range of motion. Okay, for him, it's more of a mobility type issue. Okay, so we went through that. I just want to see this first. I know we kind of nixed overhead pressing anyway. So, yep, we're not overhead pressing anymore. If I ever program it by accident, so just tell me no. So incline presses, you're going to be your go-to thing for shoulders. So you can see he doesn't have a lot of shoulder flexion here. And we can see his ribs are popping up a little bit. So let's actually not let you cheat. Yeah, so you can see how his hands cannot touch the ground. If you can watch myself. Just stop for a second, Christian. So Christian was about here. Watch me. So you can see my wrist and elbow is basically flush to the floor. So I have a lot of my ribs are down. Okay, so I can press overhead safely without kind of causing a lot of lumbar spine issues. I can be here and here. Good. So I want to come back down, and I want to test external rotation of the shoulder. So a lot of people don't think about the shoulder for squatting, but very important as well because we want to be able to get our hands back there for like a low bar position. So let's just test that. Okay, it's not great. So this might be, do you ever get like bicep pain or anything when you squat, or your hands are pretty wide? Now, for him, that may be okay, but for a smaller guy, if I can increase his external rotation and get his hands in a little tighter, that maybe makes your upper back a little bit more tighter. So again, we're not going to change this meet, but maybe something we can work on. So right now, maybe he's out here, but if I can get him his hands a little closer, his upper back is going to be that much tighter here, looser, here tighter. So if I can work on that a little bit, it might give him a little advantage from a stability standpoint, so we can keep his chest up a little bit more in the hole. And especially as a Christian's a knee wrap lifter, he's going to get a little spring out of the bottom. A lot of times it's what your core can handle, what you can actually stabilize. Your legs might be plenty strong, but if you can't actually stay upright with the weight and it folds you over, you're dead in the water. So that's something to consider as well. So let's just see if the other side kind of, just for the sake of time, I'm not going to jump over, but so yeah, not great, okay? Let's just test internal. So this is actually pretty good, and don't really get any pain benching. So if you don't have a lot of internal rotation, you might have some pain benching kind of in the bottom, so you might kind of roll forward here. If I have a little bit more internal rotation, I'll be able to keep my shoulders back and get a little bit better bench position. So you can see he's pretty good here. Let's try the other side. And again, just for the sake of the video, I'm not going to jump around. So you're pretty good there. You need a little bit more external. Your internal on your shoulder is good. Opposite of what the hip was, okay? So some things we saw, just to kind of recap for the assessment. We want to improve his expansion with his diaphragmatic breath, get the obliques a little bit more involved and pushed out. If you kind of imagine, what's easier to push over, a tall, skinny tower or a short, wide tower? right? So if I can make this is your pillar, this is your tower. So I want a short, stubby tower. So I want to compress and expand. So if I can get more expansion here, that's going to be more stability for you in the squat and the deadlift, okay? For the hips, a little bit lack of internal rotation. Now for me, I don't need to really mess with that because you're just going to keep your toes out a little bit and I'm just going to respect his body. For the shoulders, I might want to mess with and improve the mobility of the external rotation because it could be a limiting factor in a squat. So that's something I might want to look at. So 2 major things for Christian: oblique compress, get the obliques a little bit more expanded, and maybe a little external rotation work for his shoulders so he can get a better position for his back squat. And then for minor thing could be getting him a little more external rotation in his hip. Since he is a wide stance squatter and a sumo deadlift, that could be a limiting factor. But it hasn't really shown up in his movement patterns, which is why I kind of make that like a secondary thing. But the external rotation and the diaphragmatic breathing would be my kind of big things to kind of focus on. So, and you learned.
So diaphragmatic breath has been something that we've taught often, and typically speaking, when you tell someone to expand with a diaphragmatic breath, they think, okay, I'm widening like a balloon, but really focusing on the obliques is a different feeling.
So just to really, I don't want to continue, but we talked about, so we don't have a belt or a band, but if I put a band around him, it gives you a little tactile cue so we can actually feel that and push out. So if I can't always work with Christian in person, so using the band as like the coach there, so.
A lot of the rotation on the hips, because I'm able to squat a little bit wider, and sumo, that was something that I would looked into, saying, oh, you need to work on external rotation. So that's a good cue. Knew I had shoulder mobility issues. That's something that I've been going after for a while. A few other things popped up, so I have allowed that to go into the back seat lately, and it's obviously showing right now in that movement.
Cool. So now Christian's got a meet coming up at the time of this taping, so we're not going to mess with anything now. But he's a good lifter, he listens. So you have that awareness, and now we know what some things we can work on moving forward, because it's not just about this meet, it's about all those training cycles and meets moving forward. So we got some good information here. So whether Christian's you're elite like Christian or you're just starting out, these are just, I don't know how, it just took a couple of minutes to do these assessments so you can see your range of motion, and you get a lot of great feedback, and then you kind of know you're not just, we call it like, you're not just throwing grenades. You're a sniper, targeted. So you don't want to just be rolling on a foam roller for an hour and doing all this crazy stuff. Figure out what you need to work on, and that should be the stuff you work on in your recovery sessions, your off days, and maybe pre-workout, okay? So do things that are actually going to benefit you and put you in a better position for bench squat and deadlift. So any closing remarks? Cool. Thanks, Christian. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Okay. And we're going to see this guy. He's moving up the ranks.
Trying.
In the 181. So this is the thing. You got to put in the work. It's not just about putting work in the gym. It's about working smart and figuring out what actually you need for your body. And also respecting your body and your architecture. That's big. There's no one size fits all. Not everyone has to squat low bar. Not everyone has to squat wide. Not everyone has to squat with their toes forward. You got to respect your anatomy. This is a good way to find it out. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please share it. Please subscribe. And check out the links below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.